Coach James Franklin just got a 10-year, $75 million extension. Mel Tucker's been offered a $10 million, $95 million contract. What do you think of all this money that's going around?
I think when much is given, much is expected, which is why Dan Mullen's out at Florida, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I think it's ridiculous to give people a 10-year contract, Mark. I have great respect for Mel Tucker and what he's done. But let's be realistic. His first year wasn't a very good year, but then you can write that off to COVID. But in addition to that, he hadn't really had a great year. Now, when you really look at Michigan State, they had a great deal of transfers. Matter of fact, Walker, the third, who probably the best running back in the entire country, transferred in this year from Wake Forest. When you look at their schedule and who they beat the following teams, Mark. They beat Youngstown. They beat Western Kentucky, which is the USA Conference game. Their other big wins were Northwestern, Indiana, Rutgers, Maryland, and none of them are going to probably go to a bowl game. So the only real game he won was against the University of Michigan, and to say, we're giving him a 10-year contract. I hope that he works out. I hope that he truly deserves it. But I just don't see there's enough justification to reward him on the basis of one good year.
Coach, Dan Mullen just got fired from Florida. Going into the season, he was 29-9. He'd taken his team to the SEC championship game and bowl games. This year, they struggled a bit. They still have a chance to get to a bowl game by beating Florida State, but they fired him before the Florida State game. Your thoughts?
I think it's ridiculous, Mark. The first thing you'd have to look at is it the same athletic director and president that hired him? If it is, I guarantee he would still be there. I've taken over 6 college situations, never inherited a winner, never failed to go to a bowl game by the second year at the latest, never left under the same president that hired me. When they change presidents, they change things. And Mark, he's a proven coach. He won big at Mississippi State. He did a great job at the University of Florida. You have one bad year. Let me tell you, you can have one bad year. When you have a bad year, you have to look at it and say, maybe it was injuries. Maybe it was things didn't work out. Maybe you didn't have the right chemistry. Maybe your quarterback. There's a million different reasons, but you can't just get rid of them on the basis of 1 year. I think it was totally unfair to Dan Mullen, totally unfair to the athletes at the University of Florida.
Coach, with all these openings at some of these major universities, how are these openings going to be filled? Are they going to be filled with retreads or coordinators, or where are they going to find good coaches?
Well, mainly it'll be retreads, but let's also look at the jobs that are open. The best job is probably USC, and I don't know where they're going to go there. I have no idea who they're going to hire there. But let's look at LSU. I think the guy that they would probably take there is Arondi, who was there as defensive coordinator. They won the national championship, did a great job as defensive coordinator at the University of Wisconsin. He's done a tremendous job at Baylor. I think he's done an outstanding job. Now, they're also looking at Billy Napier, who is at the University of Louisiana. He's had 4 great years, but he's also had the same quarterback all 4 years, who has really made so many outstanding individual plays. I just can't tell you exactly, but I can probably say whoever they hire, they'll have glowing recommendations from this guy and that guy and all the accolades, et cetera. And then we'll just have to wait and see.